Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Crimes. This is the case of David Parker Ray and his homemade torture trailer. Our story starts on March 22, 1999 in Elephant Butte, New Mexico, where a series of calls were made to the police department claiming a naked woman with an iron collar was running down the street attempting to flag down cars for help. The woman's name was Cynthia Vigil, and she was running away from the home of David Parker Ray. Vigil was a prostitute at the time and was approached by Ray in a parking lot. He presented himself as an undercover police officer and proceeded to place Vigil in handcuffs. She was then taken to the house that Ray and his girlfriend Cindy Hendy shared. Vigil was then tasered, drugged, blindfolded, and chained to a bed. Vigil was forced to listen to a pre-recorded tape, which was deemed the instruction tape, which gave Vigil information about what was to come. The tape stated, "Okay, we both know what you have been brought here for. I'm going to use you for a sex slave, and it's going to be painful as hell. That's the way I want it to be." After this tape was played, she was subjected to 3 days of constant abuse, only escaping when Hendy made a mistake and left the key to her chains on a nightstand close by. As she was struggling to unlock her chains, Hendy attempted to stop her. A scuffle ensued, and Vigil was able to break free by stabbing Hendy in the neck with an ice pick. Vigil ran out of the house naked and with an iron collar around her neck. When the police finally arrived, she was able to direct them to the couple's home, where they were shocked at what they had discovered. Behind the home was a trailer, and that trailer was full of torture devices, some of which Ray made himself. There were whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spreader bars, surgical blades, electric shock machines, and saws. There was also a gynecological chair in the center with a mirror directly above, so the victim could see everything that was being done to them. Also in the trailer were videotapes of past victims and a journal which held detailed reports for each victim, including dates, times, and method of torture. It was suspected that Ray either killed his victims or drugged them and let them go in the hopes that they would forget about what happened to them. When the news about this case broke out, the police were determined to find the other victims in the videos. The first to be found was Angelica Montano, who was invited over to the house by Henny. She was then held captive for 4 days. Believing that she was going to be killed, Montano began pleading that she had young children at home, to which Hendy convinced Ray to let her go. The second victim that was found was Kelly Garrett, who met Jessie Ray, who was David Parker Ray's daughter, on a night out after an argument with her husband. Garrett was offered a ride home, but instead was taken to the house where she was threatened, tied up, and drugged. After being tortured for 2 days, her throat was slit and she was dumped on the side of the road. She was later found and her wounds treated. No one else came forward, and the police were unable to find other victims from the videos. There was enough evidence by now to charge Ray and Hendy with more than 25 counts of kidnapping and rape. Hendy testified against Ray, stating that he had killed at least 14 of the girls and also had an accomplice named Roy Yancey, who was forced to kill a woman and dispose of her body. The police tracked down Yancey, and under questioning, he admitted to strangling and burying Marie Parker because Ray forced him to. Once the group was in jail, both Yancey and Hendy refused to cooperate further. This was due mostly because of Ray's influence. Yancey received threats, while Hendy received love letters from Ray. As far as questioning goes, Cindy Hendy was charged for her role in abducting and sentenced to 36 years in prison, where she served 19 of them and was released in 2019. Yancey was charged for his role and sentenced to 2 15-year prison sentences. Jessie Ray was about to stand trial when Ray offered to plead guilty for all remaining charges if she were to be released. He was then sentenced in 2001 to 223 years in prison. 1 year into his sentence, he died of a heart attack. To this day, none of the other victims have come forward and no bodies have been found. The FBI released hundreds of photos of items that Ray had kept as a memento, in the hope that family members might recognize them. The link to these images will be in the description, as well as a link to the extended version of this video. This is 5 Minute Crimes, and I hope to see you in the next video.